As the world commemorates World Malaria Day aimed at creating awareness and fighting the epidemic, commemorated under the theme, Time to Deliver Zero Malaria, Invest, Innovate and Implement.
The World Malaria Day is to sensitize the population about malaria, its treatments, complication, and mainly its prevention. Sometimes some divisions, I think which division, they used to give out free malaria, nets, mosquito nets. But some people are misusing them. They take the nets to fish mokene instead of sleeping in the nets. And that's not good. So that the aim of Malaria Day is to sensitize the population about malaria, its prevention, and the dangers to look out. When a child gets malaria, they get high fever. Sometimes they get convulsions.
The senior medical officer, Dr. Samuel Kalibala, says malaria is one of the leading causes of death among children because of their vulnerability.
Malaria is one of the biggest killers of children below 1 year and below 5 years. Malaria kills them so bad, kills them very bad. And malaria is endemic. It's still with us in Uganda. And every Ugandan must know how to prevent malaria so that it doesn't lose its children to malaria. Malaria kills children who are non-immune to the disease. And it causes high fever. Sometimes the children even get convulsed. They get seizures and they get chills, headache, they lose appetite. And malaria is one of the biggest cause of fever in people in Uganda. So malaria is one of the biggest causes of fever. So anybody who has fever in Uganda, we must rule out he doesn't have malaria.
Malaria can be so dangerous among the children, causing them different diseases.
Sometimes they get what we call cerebral malaria. That's when the malaria goes up on the brain and it damages the brain. And once it damages the brain and if it's not treated quickly, it can cause permanent damage to the brain and the child gets cerebral palsy. It damages the brain. If not, the child dies from malaria. That's one of the complications malaria causes to children. It causes hemolytic anemia, because when the parasites multiply so much in the red blood cells, when they're removed, they get what we call hemolytic anemia. Children come to a hospital when they have got very little blood in them, called hemolytic anemia. Sometimes malaria causes renal failure, the kidneys fail because they have been attacked by malaria parasites.
According to doctor, practices of sleeping outside a mosquito net is one way of acquiring malaria.
Sometimes parents make mistakes. They leave their children watching the TV and then they go on the kitchen to prepare for supper. And then when the children are watching TV, they snore and they sleep. That's when the malaria, the mosquito comes and bites them and injects them with enough parasites and they get malaria. So you must be very observant that children don't sleep outside the mosquito net.
However, malaria is transmitted through the bites of some mosquitoes and it can be prevented.
Malaria is spread by female Anopheles mosquito, okay? And you call once the malaria bites somebody, it first injects the parasites in somebody's blood, and you got that malignant tertiary malaria because of a female Anopheles mosquito, and there's another benign tertiary malaria caused by Culex mosquito. So, to prevent malaria, we request and we insist that every Ugandan should sleep in a mosquito net. mosquito prevention net. These mosquito nets are available in the country, and everybody must sleep in the net.
The parasite brings unproductivity because of the draining effects among the adults.
But malaria it's not easy to kill somebody who's immune to it, like an adult. But adults can get fever, headache, sometimes they can even vomit, and they stay at home, they are not working. So malaria affects the adults also, but does not kill them so much because they have got some level of immunity against malaria.
To prevent malaria, people have to put measures against the epidemic and destroy their breeding sites.
And the mosquito breeds in a clean, stagnant water. So when it rains, we request the parents to go and look for those stagnant water in the compound and pour them away. And even these drains, make sure they are moving, the water is moving, because mosquitoes don't breed in moving water. It's very important. Then another thing, make sure you don't have a bush around your house, because mosquitoes will hide in that bush or in a maize garden, and at night they will attack your house. Make sure it's very far from your house. Then another thing, we don't recommend to use insecticide spray, because when you spray that insecticide in your house, you breathe in those toxins, and then they'll hurt and affect your lungs. So what we do, we call them residual insecticide paint. There's a paint which contains insecticide, which you can paint on your walls, and that paint can stay there and work for about 1 to 2 years.
Globally, 3.3 billion people in 106 countries are at a risk of malaria. Uganda has one of the highest global burdens of malaria cases, with over 90% of the population at risk. Malaria remains Uganda's leading cause of death, especially in children. Anselm Ojaru, live at 8.